The city lights sparkled like fallen stars, but for Michael Rowan, the brightest lights meant nothing. He sat in his corner office, 30 floors up, looking down at the world he technically owned a piece of. CEO of Rowan Enterprises, his name was stamped on buildings, signed on contracts worth millions. Yet the leather chair beneath him felt colder than ever. His assistant had already left. The entire office was empty, except for him and the silent ticking of the clock on the wall. It was his birthday. 45 years old. No family. No friends. Not even a text. Michael wasn't always like this. There were memories, soft and warm, of his parents and a little brother. But they were long gone, victims of a tragic car accident 2 decades ago. Since then, Michael buried himself in work. People called him the Ice King in the tabloids. Ruthless. Focused. Cold. He leaned back, letting out a breath, when suddenly his phone buzzed. Unknown number. Curious, he answered, expecting a wrong number. Hello? There was a small, trembling voice on the other end. Hi. Is this Mr. Rowan? Yes. Who's this? I found this number in my mommy's old phone. My name is Lila. I don't know if you remember her. Her name was Sophie. Michael's heart stopped for a second. Sophie. His college sweetheart. The one person he had pushed away because he didn't believe he could balance love with ambition. And now, her daughter was calling him. Michael swallowed hard. Sophie, she's your mother? She was. Mommy's in heaven now. It's just me now. His grip tightened on the phone. I'm sorry, he whispered. There was silence on the line, broken only by Lila's quiet sniffles. I don't know who else to call. I just wanted to invite someone to my birthday. You see, I don't really have a family either. And I thought maybe you don't have one too. Michael closed his eyes, overwhelmed. What day is your birthday? Tomorrow, Lila said softly. I'll be turning 8. Where do you live, Lila? He asked, voice steady but his heart racing. She gave him an address in a quieter part of the city. Michael promised quietly, I'll be there. The next evening, Michael stood outside a modest apartment building, holding a gift bag that felt completely out of place in his manicured hands. He'd spent hours choosing something. He hadn't shopped for a child before. His chauffeur had been shocked when he told him to take the night off. He rang the bell. The door opened to reveal Lila, a small girl with messy curls and a bright pink dress, standing all alone. Her smile, when she saw him, was like a sunrise breaking through storm clouds. You really came. Michael knelt down to her level. I promised, didn't I? Inside, there was a tiny cake on a table, 2 candles instead of 8 because that's all she had. A few streamers hung up. But no one else was there. No friends. No relatives. Lila didn't seem sad, though. She was just happy. They sat together. Michael helped her light the candles. When she made her wish, she closed her eyes tightly. What did you wish for? He asked. Lila smiled up at him and whispered, a family. Michael felt something tighten in his chest. They ate cake. They opened the gift. Michael had picked a set of watercolor paints, remembering Sophie used to love painting. Lila hugged it like it was treasure. And for the first time in years, Michael laughed. Not a polite chuckle. A real, warm laugh. The hours passed, and Lila eventually grew sleepy, her head resting on his arm as they sat on the couch. Michael looked around the tiny apartment. Photos of Sophie. Drawings Lila had made. It wasn't much, but it was more real, more alive than anything in his penthouse or office. As he gently laid her down on the small bed, tucking her in, Lila opened her eyes sleepily and asked one more question. "Mr. Rowan. Can I call you Uncle Michael?" Michael's throat closed up. His eyes stung. "Of course," he whispered, brushing her curls back gently. "Of course you can." Weeks turned into months. Michael didn't go back to his lonely penthouse. Instead, he spent his evenings in that small apartment. His board of directors noticed the change. Michael smiled more. He showed patience. He even donated a huge sum to children's charities. But the biggest change? One morning, he filed papers to adopt Lila as his daughter. Standing before the judge, hand on Lila's small shoulder, Michael spoke with a voice full of calm he hadn't known he possessed. "I have spent my life building things. Businesses. Buildings. Wealth. But all of that is meaningless if you don't have someone to share it with. I don't want Lila to grow up feeling like I did, like the world is cold and empty. I want her to know she's loved. That she has a family." The judge smiled. The papers were signed. Michael Rowan, the Ice King, left the courthouse that day holding Lila's hand, not just as her guardian, but as her father. And so, the man who had everything but nothing, found everything he had ever needed. Not in boardrooms or skyscrapers, but in a small apartment, a little birthday party, and a simple question. "You don't have a family too?" Now, he did.